Hi, everybody. This is Jim Clausen, Manager, ISV Industry Market Management Worldwide for IBM. And we're here today to talk about the IBM Tech Trends Study, recently completed. And here really to talk about some key insights for ISV partners. And with me today is one of my colleagues, Dan Hauenstein, Manager of Skills and Academic Initiative Marketing and Strategy. And Dan is here with me in the Silicon Valley area. And Dan and his team led the execution of this study, and so have really kind of a very close and unique perspective on some of the insights. I'm very familiar with the findings. So, Dan, welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
I think the first thing, just to get us started, is why are skills and why is this study so important?
Well, a couple things right now. One is that with the economic recovery going on right now, a lot of attention is being paid towards this notion of a skills gap. In other words, that employers are worried that there just aren't the skills out there to hire and bring in to push their initiatives forward. So it's leading to what many are calling a jobless recovery, and so getting a lot of attention there. The other is that when IBM spoke with senior executives through our CEO study of 2012, we found a couple of things. One is, for the first time, technology is now the number one external factor they feel is impacting their business. And very close behind that is the skills of their people. So, this is a boardroom issue. How do we use technology to take our companies forward, and where do we find the skills to put those things in place? So, big issue that that has high impact.
Right. All right. I know this study was very, had a very rigorous approach in the process and the methodology and design, which I think says a lot about the credibility of the findings. So maybe if you can share just a couple of a little bit of context or background on that.
Yeah, sure. This is the third time we've done the Tech Trends Study, and what we did this year is we worked with IBM's Center for Applied Insights, and those are the people who really understand research, really know how to build a rigorous methodology, and working with them, we ended up speaking with 1,200 decision makers, IT leaders, business leaders, 1,200 representing 16 industries and 13 countries around the globe. In alignment with that, we talked with 700 students and faculty from around the world, so we got the view from academia as well. So when you combine those, we really feel good about the sample size and the rigor.
It is. Wow. That's great. And I think it's a good point to understand, we do cover 16 industries, right? So that's applicable to partners, our ISV partners across different industries. So
absolutely.
So Dan, maybe we want to, kind of get right to, the crux of this. And what would you say are the really top three findings, that came out of this study?
Yep. Well, number one, far and away, and right in line with what we were trying to uncover and understand, is that there's a large skills gap, and it's growing. That we found that it's much wider than we thought. The hypothesis was it exists, but we found that only 1 in 10 organizations feels like it has all the skills it needs in mobile, in cloud, in analytics, and in social. So that's a big, big gap. And worse yet, we found that 73% on the academia side felt that their institutions were not ready to prepare students to move into those fields. So really big gap, and doesn't seem to be getting a lot better. So that was one big takeaway that we need to take action on.
Okay.
Another one is around security. Security comes in again every time, far and away the top barrier to adoption of these strategic technologies. So we really need to think about security very broadly. Policies, from the business side, business processes. Think about how we apply it to the use of analytics, to bringing more mobile devices into the organization, to putting things up in the cloud. Security is something that absolutely has to be designed in.
Right.
The third thing I would point out is that we did a segmentation and we found a group of pace setters who among the respondents are out in front in terms of both their adoption of the technology and also their use in strategic fashion within their business. So again, tying back to what the CEOs see as a real priority, these pace setters are doing that. And we learned a few things from them. One, they're more market driven. So they're applying this in customer facing ways.
Okay.
Two is they're more analytical. So they're using analytics in everything they do.
Right.
And the third is they're very experimental, which ties back to the skills in that they're letting their people try things and experiment with technology before there's even a project in place to really roll it out. So they're getting ahead of the game.
Well, yeah, that probably gives them that kind of experimentation gives them more tools to work with as problems arise, right? Or they start to see something from the data. Okay, how can we approach that?
That's right. They're finding new ways to apply it. And then when something comes up, they're ready to go. They don't have to go and train people and learn it. Right.
They're skilled. Okay. So what would you say are the key takeaways for ISVs in terms of, the study? And we'll have some links here for the executive summary, the full study itself. People can see it in depth. But what would you say from where you sit, are really key takeaways for ISV to use these findings?
Well, I'd say number one is think of yourselves as a source of skills for these clients who are out there. Businesses are desperate for these skills, and ISVs are just chock full of some of the most relevant skills in these advanced technology areas. So partner around your skills, see that as a differentiator for your business. That'd be one. The second goes hand in hand with that. Support skill building within your organization. Allow for experimentation. Let people get their hands on with the tools. Do that even when there aren't projects in place. Learn from those pace setters.
Right.
And then the third one that I would mention would be get involved in academia, get involved with universities and schools, and think about ways that you can help that pipeline and build the skills and start to identify people you may want to move into your business in the future. And we have a good way of doing that through the academic initiative within IBM, where we're working with universities all around the world, and there's ample opportunity for our partners to reach out and get involved in those opportunities.
Oh, excellent. All right, good suggestions, Dan.
All right.
So I think that's it for today, but really appreciate your time and your insights, and hope people find this valuable. And we'll have some links to the executive summary, the full study itself, and additional resources people can tap into. So thanks a lot, Dan. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Great. Okay, thanks, Jim.